Every Brazilian boy starts kicking a ball or something similar to it from an early age, hoping to grow into a true professional and conquer Europe as a member of the top club. Some players manage to do this and some do not, but Brazilian footballers are now present in all major football leagues of the world, including the lowest professional divisions. The English Premier League is not the most convenient championship for Brazilians, and the weather is not the only reason. Therefore, in the history of this tournament, there are not so many players who had played for at least 3 to 4 seasons. Today we present to you the top 10 Brazilian football players who fielded the most matches in the Premier League history. Do not forget to subscribe to Football Geeks, and let's go! Number 10. Oscar. Active career in Chelsea since 2012 until 2016. 131 appearances. In August 2012, Oscar moved to Chelsea from the Brazilian Internacional for impressive £29 million. His debut in the Blues lineup took place on September 19th in the Champions League match against Juventus. He scored 2 goals, while the first kick flew along an unbelievable trajectory. In general, the skinny Brazilian has successfully performed in the most bruising European championship. After the arrival of Antonio Conte as the Blues head coach in the summer 2016, the Brazilian lost his place in the starting 11 and was sold to the Chinese club Shanghai SIPG in December. The club and the player parted their ways peacefully. Chelsea replenished the club's treasury by 60 million, while Oscar is still enjoying his salary of about 20 million per year. The Brazilian midfielder is only 27-year-old, and we hope that he will return to the big football. Number 9. Roberto Firmino. Active career in the Premier League since 2015. Roberto Firmino moved to Liverpool in the summer of 2018 from Hoffenheim for £37 million. It did not take him much to adapt to the Premier League, and he quickly secured a starting 11 spot. Due to the absence of injuries and a confident performance, Firmino crossed the mark of 100 matches in the Championship in just 3 seasons. Given the strong position of the attacking midfielder in today's Liverpool, nothing can prevent Roberto from rising further in this top. Number 8. David Luiz. David Luiz moved to Chelsea in winter 2011 and quickly seized his place in the defending line. The Blues fans warmly welcomed the curly-headed defender and quite often forgave David occasional careless mistakes that the player has been famous for since then. But in the summer of 2014, Chelsea could not resist the onslaught of the French PSG wallet, while the player himself justified the need for a new challenge. The then 45 million move set a new transfer record for the defender. However, after 2 seasons on the last day of the transfer window, Chelsea returned Luiz to Stamford Bridge, paying £31 million. Despite the deplorable state of today's Chelsea, the player and the club are negotiating to extend the contract. Number 7. Philippe Coutinho. 6 years at Liverpool, 152 appearances. Having arrived at the Liverpool camp as a fairly raw player who could not break into the starting lineup of Internazionale, Philippe Coutinho has gradually developed and grew into the main star of the Reds. In the last 2 seasons in England, the attacking midfielder began to score a lot, which has eventually inflated his price tag to the skies, while Liverpool did everything possible to keep the player. But the faster the young Brazilian developed, the more he was dreaming about a completely different club. The transfer saga with the move of the Brazilian to Barcelona began in the summer of 2017 and ended only 6 months later. In the summer, Liverpool till the very end did their best to shake the money from the Blaugrana's bosses, and the transfer had failed. By December, club and Liverpool's management made concessions in the negotiations after they realized that Felipe was determined to leave. Nevertheless, the Brazilian left Liverpool with an incredible £125 million pouch. Number 6. Ramirez. Active career in Chelsea since 2010 until 2016. 159 appearances. The story of Ramirez is quite similar to the careers of Oscar and David Luiz. Like the former, the Brazilian also moved to Chelsea from the Portuguese Benfica. Ramirez, despite his position as a central midfielder, scored a lot and was distinguished by fine penetrating passes. He also survived the peak of his career at Chelsea, having won various trophies. Few seasons later, he decided to earn some money and moved to the Chinese Super League, leaving behind the envelope with £25 million. Number 5. Gilberto Silva. 7 active seasons in Arsenal, 170 appearances in the Premier League, and the status of the English football legend of his generation. Gilberto Silva is a vivid example of the fact that failures should be perceived only as a motivation for further actions. The future world champion 3 times tried to break into the big football, but he first played for the senior team of not the most titled side in Brazil, being already 22 years old. Arsene Wenger and his character, before all other coaches, saw the great potential hidden in the Brazilian midfielder. Later, Arsene himself confessed that he liked Gilberto due to one important quality. He has never complicated his work on the field. He could play all over the box, but only ahead of the defensive line. Gilberto Silva was extremely reluctant to leave his zone. By the way, drop a comment if you want to see the story of this Brazilian legend in the separate episodes. Number 4. Fernandinho. Active career at Manchester City since 2013, 190 plus appearances. Fernandinho is one of the main veterans in the current Manchester City squad. At 33 years old, he is still an important link in Pep Guardiola's attacking machine. If today the Brazilian defensive midfielder is more focused on destroying the opponent's attacks than in his first seasons at the Citizens side, Fernandinho demonstrated an incredible speed, a clean defense game, and the ability to quickly disperse the attack with a long pass. The player has 1 year left under the contract, and we hope that he will please us with his game for at least one more season. Number 3. Willian. He's playing at Chelsea since 2013, 190 plus appearances. Obviously, Fernandinho and Willian will be constantly changing their places in our top, at least until the end of the season. After all, both players have about the same number of appearances in the Premier League. Like the Man City's defensive midfielder, Willian carved out a name for himself in the Ukrainian club Shakhtar. In 2013, the Brazilian could have landed at Spurs camp, but after short-term transit through Russia, Willian decided to sign a contract with Chelsea. Willian plays at the Blues side for the 6th season, and with each coach, he was an important player of the starting 11. Today, Chelsea is not doing well, and this greatly influences the negotiations on the contract extension. Willian may leave the club next summer. Number 2. Aurelio Gomes. Active career within the Premier League since 2008. 195 appearances, and he keeps going. The Brazilian goalkeeper is the only player in our top who has played for more than one Premier League club. Gomes was bought by Tottenham in June 2008 as a replacement for the departed Paul Robinson. Initially, Aurelio could not show his best qualities and made careless mistakes, but with the arrival of Harry Redknapp, the tall goalkeeper started to shine in full force. If it weren't for injuries that sometimes knocked out Gomes for several months, he would have played a lot more matches in his 6-year span at the London club. The Brazilian parted ways with Spurs in 2014. However, the 33-year-old goalkeeper expressed a desire to continue his career in England and moved to Watford, where he has played since then. This season, however, Gomes lost his place in the starting lineup and his contract ends next summer. Number 1. Lucas Leiva. A decade at Liverpool, 247 appearances. Lucas is the undisputed leader in the number of matches in the Premier League. After 2 successful seasons at Grêmio, the player attracted interest of several European clubs, including Liverpool. The latter sent scouts to watch the midfielder. They liked the performance of a young Brazilian, who in their opinion could easily adapt to the style of English football. In the spring of 2007, the Reds told the press that they had signed a contract with Lucas, paying £6 million for the player. In the season 2007-2008, Leiva immediately began to take part in the team matches, while demonstrating a confident control of his position. Overall, Lucas Leiva is a true legend of Liverpool and a football player who constantly worked on himself to compete for a place in the starting lineup. Leiva spent 10 years at the club and promised the fans to come back. Thank you for staying with us till the end. Did you like this video format? Please share your ideas about future topics and we will choose the best comment to make a new release. Do not forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and watch more episodes suggested on the screen. Subscribe to Football Geeks and come back soon. New episodes are on their way.